Hey everyone, Ryan here, and today we are going to be talking about suing LEGO, apparently, because that is a question that someone asked, and if you have a question that you want to ask for next week's episode, make sure to leave it down in the comment section below, hit the like button while you're there, and let's get into it with our first question from Mike Simone. He says, I'm a 55-year-old AFOL, and why does LEGO continue to place stickers in 18+ adult LEGO sets? Y'all can certainly read the rest on your own, but thank you, Mike, for the kind words at the end there, and there's only one answer, and that's money, because if it were cheaper to print pieces versus doing stickered pieces, they would certainly be doing printed pieces in all of the sets instead of stickered pieces, because it's also what the majority of people would like to have. They would rather have the prints versus the stickers, but LEGO, of course, being a company that wants to make money, wants to maximize their profits, and so wherever they can get away with it, they have been getting away with using stickers. But what's interesting about this, as you specifically mentioned 18+ sets, right? And so you would think that LEGO, with this kind of segmentation of their product lineup now, right? So they have their 4+ product lineup, which is for the kiddies. They have the, basically, I guess, 5 to 17 lineup of play sets for like the normal folk and teenagers, but that lineup of sets also does appeal to adult collectors a lot of the time. You can see sets like the File First Battle Pack or the ATTE, the Inquisitor Scythe. There's many sets in that range, the Slave One, that are both play sets, but also for adults, but those, of course, heavily use stickers. And then you have the new segmentation of their lineup, the 18+ adult collector, all black box art sets, which really scream premium, but the experience as far as the quality of like pieces that you're getting with stickers versus prints is no different, right? You're not getting anything extra for your money. And what doesn't make sense about this to many people is that if you look at these 3 distinct segments, one of them never gets stickers. And you probably know this, it's the 4+ lineup of sets. The little kid, juniors, baby lineup of LEGO sets never get, actually Duplo also never gets stickers, right? The ones for like literally 2-year-olds, but that makes a ton of sense because 2-year-olds put things in your mouth. You don't want them to eat the stickers off the Lego brick or whatever it would be. So that makes a ton of sense. But if you look at the 4+ lineup, those only ever get prints. And so what's obviously frustrating for adult collectors is to look at those sets and be like, well, why don't we, as someone who is paying way more money for sets than 4-year-olds, get the same treatment? And it's just unfortunate, but it is the way it is. It's probably not going to change. The only thing changing in the immediate future is that LEGO Star Wars came out and said that they are finally going to start printing the UCS plaques, which is nice. It's a step in the right direction, but I think it will leave a lot of people still desiring more as far as getting away from the stickers and moving to only printed elements. That's probably never gonna happen. It's just too much of a cost difference for LEGO, probably. I'm sure there's a few experts out there that would have a good guess as to what the difference per piece having a sticker versus having a print would be. But if we look at the price of 4+ sets, we can only guess that LEGO, despite what the cost, I guess, to them would be, would mark up their sets another $20, $30, $40, $50 to only have prints versus having stickers with the normal sets that we're getting. So I would say for the cost benefit to the consumer, to stay away from even further price hikes, stickers are the way to go, unfortunately. I hope that somewhat helps answer your question. I think it really just comes down to money and maybe the availability of number of printers that they have for specific pieces. I really just think it's a money thing, and they don't want to raise prices even further, and so to avoid that, they're just gonna keep doing stickers forever. It's never gonna change. LEGO Stormtrooper 4 with possibly the funniest question I've ever received. Do you think we could sue LEGO for discriminating against Star Wars fans because they take a set that's $150 in other lines, but make it $200 in Star Wars? Oh boy, yeah, I guess you could sue anyone for anything at any time for any reason. So from that perspective, go wild. I have no interest in joining you in your pursuit. I will happily cover it on the channel because it'd be funny. You would lose very quickly, I'm sure. I honestly doubt any real lawyer would take your money for that. Maybe Saul Goodman. You might want to give him a call. Better call Saul. By the way, I've been watching that. I'm just halfway through season 6. Fantastic, and I want LEGO to make sets on that so bad, or like a minifig pack. They never will, but that's awesome. Awesome show. Anyway, I don't think what you're claiming here is even founded. I don't think there's a single $200 LEGO Star Wars set that would have been $150 if it were any other theme. But the fact remains that no matter what, LEGO is a company and they can charge whatever prices they want for whatever product. They could charge $5,000 for a LEGO SpongeBob set, and LEGO SpongeBob fans can't just or I guess they could, like I said, they can probably sue anyone for anything, right? You are free to buy or not buy the product as you please. There's zero discrimination against any like group of people there, in my opinion. I do not see it. I'm sure you're younger if you're asking this to begin with, but it's just not a thing here. This isn't how it works. They don't just magically make things more expensive for Star Wars fans because F you Star Wars fans. Now, well, I shouldn't be getting ahead of myself. They did double the price of battle packs because Star Wars fans wanted blue clone troopers for one Final First battle pack. That did happen, but you're still not going to win a court case over that. Come on. I suppose the biggest case you could have against the LEGO company is false advertising on their boxes. That is something that has gotten a little bit out of hand lately with the 212 Trooper. They do it a lot with the minifigure skin colors, and it's just a really common problem from set to set. But is it a big enough thing that like a court would rule in your favor? Probably not. Like, to me, it is false advertising. Like, there's no doubt that the 212 Trooper and the minifigure skin tones, they are false advertising. Like, it's just not what you're getting in the box. However, you're still getting the product. It's just a defect, which I guess with their replacement program, even though you're going to be receiving that same defect, is kind of covered. So I don't know. That's the biggest case I think anyone could have against LEGO, but I don't think anyone's going to be suing LEGO. I think that's a little bit of a out of left field, ridiculous idea. LEGO Star Killer says, what is the most stupidly expensive Star Wars figure that just doesn't make sense? So if you look on a lot of websites that'll list the most expensive LEGO Star Wars minifigs, the prices on them aren't going to be exact, but I'm on brickranker.com for this example, and we have the top figure being Gold C-3PO, we have Cloud City Boba Fett, we have Cloud City Luke Skywalker, Cloud City Lando Calrissian, Jango Fett, Smooth Hair Leia's, but like the one figure that's in the middle there is the Resistance Bomber Finch Dallo, and it's like, he's not a named character, he's not important in any way, shape, or form, yet he's ranked among the top 5 or 6 most expensive LEGO Star Wars minifigs that ever came in sets. Again, we're ignoring like the 1 of 2 bronze and gold and chrome figures or whatever. And while I understand that it's a rare, very underproduced minifigure that was only released in a very short time period for a limited run of Resistance Bomber sets, and then people that also got it from like LEGO customer service, I just don't understand where the drive for people wanting to pay $600, $700, $800 for this figure, $1,000 for that set is. Like, I guess it's a collector's market, but if I had to pick one that to me just doesn't make sense, it's got to be Resistance Bomber Finch Dallo, because the rest of the most expensive figures are at least like iconic characters from iconic sets or iconic scenes. This is just like the most random minifigure to be worth $500 or $600. It's just absurd to me. I wish I had like 30 of them sitting around. Hewib has a interesting take. He says, please don't talk about LEGO investing. The founder of LEGO has the intention to make toys for his poor children. And that's all fine and dandy. However, LEGO is now a multi-billion-dollar corporation profiting off of that, so I don't quite understand why the small guy can't profit off of that. So yeah, I will be making some content based around LEGO investing. Whether or not you watch that, Hewib, is up to you. You certainly don't have to. But it's a topic that people want to hear people talk about, and it's related to LEGO and LEGO Star Wars, certainly. So I feel the need and desire to talk about it at this point. I've kind of held off for way too long. So yeah, it's great that that was the intention of LEGO's founder. But when the LEGO Group owns the biggest secondary market for its own product, you can't ignore that it's a thing, okay? It's no longer this purity that they may have had 100 years ago. It's just not. David says, given that LEGO remade Kylo Ren's shuttle and made it much more accurate the second time around, do you think there's a chance they will do this with the Bad Batch shuttle after Season 2 releases? I want the figures for my collection, but can't justify buying an inaccurate set. So, unfortunately, you are gonna probably have to justify it if you want the Bad Batch minifigs, or you could buy the Justifier unjustifiably for $170 with the Hunter, and then you'll have at least one of the Bad Batch members there, but, or I guess 2 with Omega. But the deal with Kylo Ren's shuttle, though, on the first movie is it was based off concept art, and they got it wrong, and they acknowledged that they got it wrong, and then, of course, 4 years later, they came out with a much better version that also had the wings that folded out, and it was in black, and it looked amazing, one of the best sets, maybe the best set from the sequels. But with the Bad Batch shuttle, the designer said that they made it sand blue on purpose. It is what they wanted to do, and so they aren't going to be changing their mind on that, I promise you. They are going to be sticking to their guns, and it's unfortunate. Now, there is, of course, a group of people that are like, but it's not a gray ship now, so it's better. And it's like, yeah, it's not accurate to what's in the movie, but it is something unique and different looking. Like, you can take that perspective. But it is kind of funny. I was reading a Reddit thread the other day, and there's this guy that's just dumbfounded, and then, of course, it gets a bunch of upvotes. Like, I don't understand why people complain about it. It's like, people complain about it because it's inaccurate. You can like that it's sand blue, and clearly, David, you don't. Like, you can like that it's sand blue. I like the color sand blue. I think it looks good on the ship. I just don't think it's accurate to what we see in the show. And it's like, I don't know. I hate the Reddits, bro. It's so bad. That aside, yes, it's inaccurate. No, they will not be making it more accurate because LEGO Star Wars has already said this is the way we wanted to do it, and they will not be doubling back on that. And it's the type of thing that, like, Bad Batch Season 2 isn't like a whole new Star Wars movie like with the Kylo Ren shuttle, where like you have a whole thing to push the set. The animated shows aren't as big for LEGO Star Wars, I feel like, in that way right now. So yeah, it's for a few different reasons, but mostly because they already said sand blue is the color they want. They won't be changing it. Miller says, do you know what happens to the LEGO display sets that they have in the LEGO store? I know some people have bought display sets, but they tend to be returned, or can you just ask for them? So I'm not sure if you're talking specifically about the LEGO store or like Target and Walmart, etc., where they have like the plastic display cases with glued together sets. So I'll answer both for you. So if you're at the LEGO store and you see a display model in there that's, you know, the UCS gunship or Mos Eisley Cantina or the Imperial Star Destroyer or whatever the sets may be that they have on display at the LEGO store, right? Those are just built by the employees, and then at the very end of their lifespan on shelves, or at least that they have them on display in the store, I should say, the employees get to take them home. So I'm sure it could vary store to store, but the way I understand is that, you know, the employees basically get to pick sets that they want, or maybe it's dependent on who builds it, you know, who knows. Now, when it comes to the Target and Walmart store displays that are plastic covered and the sets inside are glued, they are supposed to be destroyed at the end of their life cycle. On the back, it says it should never leave the premises and that you need to destroy it and put it in the trash type of thing. I'm sure that most of the display cases that you and I see on a regular basis at Walmart and Target and other stores are destroyed at the end of their life cycle. However, if you find the right manager or talk to the right employee on the right day, you can probably get them to just let you have it if it's at the end of its life cycle that it's supposed to be taken off the shelf. I think on the back of a lot of them, there's a sticker that tells you when it's supposed to be pulled off the shelf, so that could maybe give you an idea of when to go in and ask the manager. Now, I'm sure you could maybe pay the manager, I don't know, but a lot of them I think would just give it to you for free if they'll give it to you at all, though, that is. A lot of them probably just won't let you have it to begin with. But the worst thing they can say is no, so it's worth giving it a shot if that's something that you want to have in your collection. Now, the other option there, of course, is to go online and buy it on eBay or whatever, and that is what I personally do when I want something like that. There's only a few that I have wanted in the past. I generally find them to be too big and bulky to really keep many of. I only have a couple small ones at this point, but it is pretty cool if you can get your hands on a display case like that if it's something that you like and have space for. And then there's kind of a third category of things from stores like that. Like if you see like a big Captain Rex life-size thing, or, you know, those big characters, a lot of those have to be sent back to LEGO. There are some things that have to be sent back and will absolutely be sent back. Good luck getting your hands on it. Mr. Knight says, since the 5 Battle Pack is retired now, and since you've got so many, I have to ask, do you think you're going to sell a few to people or keep them all? By the way, love your vids. It's technically not retired now, and this conversation kind of comes up every year. Retirements aren't like shows leaving Netflix. There isn't kind of a 1 minute it's here, 1 minute it's not. It's a very gradual thing. Over the next couple of months, less and less stores will have them in stock. They have already gone out of stock, I think, on Target.com for shipping, Walmart.com for shipping, Lego.com they went out of stock, but now they're on back order, so there'll maybe be one more shipment of them coming through Lego.com, and then that will be it there. But yeah, it's not technically retired until December 31st at midnight, but even then you can still find stragglers on shelves, or maybe not if people buy them all. It's just impossible to know. Anyway, I can't imagine I wouldn't sell some of my 5 Battle Packs. I'm at about 300 now, and about 200 of those are sealed in the box, and you know, if they go up in value considerably, I would certainly be happy to take some money for it. My stock market investments haven't done very well, so if some LEGO investments do well, I'd be a fool not to take the money. I mean, let's be honest. For my clone army specifically, as far as number of blue 501st clone troopers, I would want to have 501, and currently I have about, I don't know, 350 maybe. So at the very least, I'll be opening 50 more of the battle packs to get that 150 more troopers to be at 501 for my army, and then kind of stop building the 501st army there. And then maybe the rest I could sell and do giveaways with on whatnot further down the line, you know, that type of things. Really, I'm open to anything as far as what I'm going to be doing with them down the line. line, whether it's sell them, give them away, open them for my personal collection. I've been pulling out every trick in the book to, like, you know, what's on sale, what's the gift card stack, what's my cash back on Rakuten, like everything I can, right? And so I try to average that cost down as much as possible for them. But it's like, yeah, now I have options, right? If 2 years down the line, I'm like, oh, I wish I had 5 more sealed battle packs right now and I had to pay $50 each, I'd be pretty upset with myself for not having bought more now. So that's the way I've looked at it. I'm kind of curious though. Let me know in the comment section below. I'll pin a comment what you're going to be doing with your first battle packs and how many exactly you have to do what you want with them. World says, do you think the value of the Ahsoka figure from set 75158 will drop with the future release of a new Ahsoka minifig with the Ahsoka show coming next year? It likely means we'll get a new figure. So look, man, this one I think is a bit of a ridiculous question from the perspective of they already released a new Ahsoka figure since the really expensive Ahsoka figure became expensive from that Rebel Combat frigate. I mean, maybe the Ahsoka figure that comes out in the future will be more similar to the Rebel Combat frigate Ahsoka, but even then, it's probably going to continue to remain expensive because it's just a rarer, harder to come by figure. And I think the best way to look at this is you look at minifigs like Cloud City Boba Fett and how it's, I don't know, $2,000 right now. There are 20 different Boba Fetts anyone could buy, yet there is still one very expensive Boba Fett. And that might just continue to be the case with Ahsoka here, and very likely will. So I would certainly expect that minifig to retain its value over time. It's not just gonna fall off a cliff. They've already released Ahsoka in 2 cheap sets, and that figure has retained its value. It's not happening. It's not going down. Joran says, are LEGO sets signed by designers worth anything in the LEGO community? I have a Razor Crest signed by Caesar, who designed the UCS Razor Crest, and I'm putting off building it because it feels a bit special now. I don't think a lot of people give them a lot of extra value. Maybe to the right buyer on the right day, you could sell it for an extra $100, $200. But to me, having the designer sign it is more of a special thing for the person who got it signed by them. For me, my designer signing experience was with Justin Ramsden back in early 2019. I had the Welcome to Apocalypseburg set, and I brought it to the LEGO store in Orlando, Disney Springs, and he was there, and he signed it. It was a great experience. They actually recognized me from the File First Battle Pack thing, which was kind of funny at the time because they obviously hadn't made the set yet. But yeah, like they personalized it, they wrote some cool things on there, doodled or whatever, and like that was a fun one, you know? Like you can't beat that. That's a unique experience. I'll never sell that box. That's my Welcome to Apocalypseburg box. And maybe it's different for you, but I just always thought it was interesting and cool to have that unique piece just for me. It's not something that I think a ton of people put extra value on. Now, if it was signed by like George Lucas or Pedro Pascal from The Mandalorian, maybe that's a bit of a different story. Maybe then there's people out there that would pay a lot of money to have something signed by Pedro Pascal, but I would bet the amount of people watching this video that actually know who Caesar Soares is rather limited compared to a guy like Pedro Pascal, and for that reason, I just don't think there's a ton of demand there for their signatures as far as secondary market value goes. I would recommend you just open it and enjoy the build, and then you still have the box, but that's my 2 cents. I had to shoehorn in a question here at the end that's not LEGO related from Nathaniel. He says, I know this isn't a LEGO question, but I saw the SpongeBob Kyrie's in the back and was wondering what's your favorite basketball shoe? Yes, the SpongeBob and Patrick Kyrie's are amazing. That whole collab that they did was great for Nike. However, Kyrie fell off the deep end recently, so there's that. He was already my least favorite basketball player from his days with the Celtics, but this has just cemented it. The guy's a nut job lunatic. I already knew that. He was already doing the Earth is flat thing 4 years ago. It's okay. Anyway, with that in mind, I play a lot of pickup basketball, and my favorite basketball shoes to play in are the Kyrie 3 and the Kyrie 5s. Those are the ones that I've been the most comfortable in. I feel like I have the most traction or grip or best movement in, whatever the case may be. The ones that I like the least, surprisingly, are the Kyrie 4s. They're just too tight on my feet for whatever reason, but Kyrie 3 and 5, I really like playing basketball in. Those are my favorite basketball shoes. I hate the guy. I think he's an awful, terrible person for a lot of reasons, but Nike made some good basketball shoes with his name on it, so there's that. I should also say I recently did pick up my first ever pair of Jordans. I think they're my first pair of Jordans. It's the Jason Tatum Ford Mustang Jordan collab. Pretty sick. Says Jason Tatum on there with the Mustang logo. But I haven't played in these yet, so I certainly can't call them my favorite. But, you know, future contender maybe, because I need to get off the Kyries. The guy's awful. I need to stop supporting that. Anyway, if you enjoyed and don't like Kyrie Irving, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And if you have a question you want to answer in next week's episode, leave it down in the comments section below. Peace out.